GloryDaze, the best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim.
On Radio Nova.
Welcome along, folks, to another GloryDaze.
GloryDaze.
Actually, is this the last? No, is it? No, this is not the last one before our holidays, is it?
No, we've one more. We definitely, we're
One
here
more.
next week. Yeah, we're here to sort of say farewell to everyone as we head off for a couple of weeks and hopefully survive as Jim McCabe goes off to nice places, venturing like someone who still tolerates his horse shit, and I plough my lonely way around.
You'll be doing some sort of exotic carry-on somewhere, will you?
Oh yeah, probably in Cork or Sligo or Dundalk or somewhere like that.
Do you know something? I think one of the things that we should have proposed for you, with, like, you know, maybe a television show. Remember we were saying that you kind of get those people who they always manage to blag themselves a television show that you think, well, how in the name of God would you, like, you know, whatever, Joanna Lumley's Australia or somebody else's blooming
and it's
European adventure. And you're like, so basically they're just going to film you having a massive holiday.
Yeah, and it's always like people who aren't famous for doing that thing.
Yeah.
You know, like they never get... Like if someone was going to space, they wouldn't ask, you know, your man, whatever his name is, Chris, what's that fella's name?
Rock.
He's an astronaut anyway. But they wouldn't ask him. They'd get Stephen Fry or something.
Yeah.
And send him to space and he'd be like,
Yeah, you don't
here in the, you know, you're like, what's the reference point?
You don't get it, like they don't just pick a geography teacher.
No, they don't.
to go around
like you said,
visiting countries.
Joanna Lumley does a niece. You're like, how do they put those two things together?
Yeah.
You know, like, why don't they just have...
You see, with you, it would have been fantastic because you would have had the opportunity, kind of like, now, you know, I don't want you to take this literally, but, you know, similar to the sort of an idiot abroad kind of idea.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, you'd have a very unique take, let's say, on what would be considered, you know, culturally appropriate in the specific countries that you visited.
I suppose, yeah, that's true, yeah.
You know, you'd have a different sort of insight.
Yeah, because I've travelled quite a lot and now I couldn't be arsed, so it would have to be like really, you know, different. You'd have to be like, so I...
But you could show them the error of their ways.
Direct, imagine that. Imagine that, like, travelling around the world telling people what you think they should be doing.
Yeah, now, see, if that's not an idea for a television show, I don't know what is.
Wouldn't that be I'd actually watch that. Some lad from a chipper going into a Michelin restaurant saying, now I'm going to show you the right way to do it, okay? None of this fancy foo-foo shit, right?
Yeah.
We're going to spatter some burgers here. We're going
People are hungry, you know.
Yeah. If it doesn't come in batter, it doesn't come out. It's that simple. It would be brilliant to flip things on their head like that.
That's exactly the way it should be. And it's because I remember that time you told me about when you were in Japan. Was it Japan? Anyway, where somebody who was part of your party claimed to speak the language. Do you remember that?
It was actually in Hong Kong.
Is that where it was?
We were getting our visas to go to China.
Yeah.
Because we needed our work permits to do the gigs there. And we were in this, like the communist headquarters things. You have to collect your visas in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And we were walking around the building, and I was there to a woman. I need a visa for 4 days or whatever it was, mainland China. And she's like, hadn't a clue what I was saying.
Yeah.
And then your man beside the English guy goes, no, you have to speak Chinglish, she said. You have to sort of...
He didn't say that.
You have to say it in their accent. And I went, I'm not doing it. I'm not walking around the Chinese embassy going, hello, can you... I'm not doing it. I am not doing it.
Yeah.
That is not happening, like. And he goes, no. And then he looked at her and he goes, visa for the mainland China. And he gave the name. And then she goes, well, why didn't he say it? That's what she said. I was like, this is the most ludicrous. I was like, I'm not doing this. It was bananas, yeah.
Was there a story, or was it just urban legend that a judge once asked that in a court case if somebody spoke a language like German or something, or
I don't know. I remember your man that did Nelson Mandela's funeral, and he spoofed up he could do sign language, and he couldn't do it. Yeah, and he just stood on the side of the stage, just moving his hands around as everyone was talking, so he could get a payday. But he couldn't actually do it. Yeah.
Internationally televised event.
And he hadn't a clue what he was doing. He was just doing like charades. Sounds like freedom.
Or like a tic-tac man on a race course. 4-1 on number 7.
4-1, yeah. Resuscitation. Reincarnation, whatever. Yeah. It's crazy stuff.
Oh my God.
And I've always wondered as well, because you know, I've learned Spanish for a while, right?
Yeah.
I love learning a bit of Spanish, and you have to learn it in the Spanish accent. Like, you have to do it, you know. So, because they won't understand, so you have to, like, you can't say dos cervezas for
Por favor.
mi amigo Jimmo, por favor. You can't. It has to be, you know, dos cervezas por favor por mis amigos. You know, you have to do it that way, like. But it never works the other way. Do you know, like, you never see the Spanish coming over here. I'm like walking around. Yeah, is anyone going to feel change of a tenner? Like,
Yeah. All right, Tony. 2 points when you're ready. Yeah.
Yeah. He goes home. How was Ireland? Oh, you shut your hole, you. I'm after being over there freezing for 3 months. Like,
You're right, yeah. We don't seem to. They don't seem to embrace the Irish accent quite as much.
Not to the same level, yeah. It doesn't seem to have it, yeah.
But I still like the idea, though, of you setting off telling people where they're, you know, the error of their ways. You know, like telling them that they're just wrong in various kind of pursuits that they have.
Who am I to tell anyone what's wrong? Like,
I think it'd be worth a crack, especially if I was there to monitor it all the time. Because that's the most important thing, is that I blag something out of it.
Isn't it funny though, the way you do start to think you're an expert in stuff of really, really fast?
Yeah.
Like so the other day, for the first time in my life, and maybe the last time ever, I went to a Michelin-starred restaurant, you know, and I don't know, how many courses is it again? You did it as well. 10 or something.
God, yeah, it must be 10.
It must be 10 courses. They bring it out, and by the time they brought out the pigeon legs, which was course number 7 or something, I had decided I was a restaurant critic of the highest order. You know? So I'm there with a pigeon leg in my mouth, sucking a little bit of meat up, you know, like this, and drinking the wine. I was like, not the best. I thought, oh man, that was, you know, there was the person next to me going, yeah, I mean, it was hot, yeah. I would have to say the raspberry round thing was better. Like, it's amazing.
And also the thing is, you know, when you do, and like we did the other thing, when we were in Powers Court, right? Yeah. And you find yourself when you're talking to people, and you suddenly adopt as though you know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
You do the thing where you're going, now it's beautiful the way that goes with it, the acidity that's coming from the wine there, with is cutting through the creaminess of the cheese.
And she's telling you and all, and you're like, yes, yes.
Yeah. And I'm getting like, you know, when people do that thing, I'm getting kind of vanilla.
Oh, the worst is when they ask you, they're like, you know, what are you getting off that? You're like, bacon. They're like, no, there's no bacon in it. It's wine.
Yeah. That's the trouble, you see. Nobody thinks of the stuff that's supposed to be in it. Right. If they asked you and we'd be thinking taste. You're going, what am I getting? Am I getting, like, what is it? Like, I don't know. Yeah. What is that taste? But you never think of turning around and going, I'm getting leather. What?
Yeah.
Are you getting? Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. I'm getting. Yeah. Leather and forest stick. That's what I'm getting from it.
That's what I'm going to do. That's
the only way you get away with that stuff.
The next time I'm in a fancy place like that, I'm going to, like, because the last time I had wine was out of a box in about 1998, sitting in a field, and then I'm sitting there in this restaurant and I'm doing the whole swishing it around and smelling it and all that. And next time I'm going to go, yes, needs a bit of salt, please. Bit of salt and pepper, thank you. Yeah. It'll bring it to life, you know. Couple of cubes of ice and a bit of salt and pepper. Imagine.
Because, like, you have, how do these people dream stuff up? Like that restaurant, right? If you do the non-alcoholic, the non-wine, you do the non-alcoholic tasting version.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like they do things like, you know, these cocktails or whatever, and there's like burnt hay and stuff in it.
Burnt hay.
Burnt hay. And it's in the glass, like bits of floating burnt hay.
And you're supposed to eat it. You see, I wouldn't know what to do with that.
You see, I wouldn't either. And so I didn't have it. That's why I went for the alcohol. But anyway.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, how would somebody dream up something like that? If you're putting together a cocktail and somebody,
yeah.
If I put in some burnt hay.
Burnt hay, yeah.
And actually some cinders and a little bit of skid mark from the front driveway.
It needs just a dipped shoelace for a while, just in and out, like a tea bag, just in and out, like a light, no problem. And it's gas. And you go to these fancy places as well, and like this, I was sitting there, and there was the one good thing about it was it wasn't dressed. Like the whole table was very simple. Yeah. So it was just literally a white tablecloth, one knife, one fork. That was it. So they changed it every time you drink a course, and they brought out 2 little pieces of bread at the start. Right. And the person that was with going, "Cheers, I don't know what to do." I said, "Well, it's fucking one knife and a piece of bread." I mean, like, what? Like, what do you fucking...
Have a guess. Have a guess. Go mad and have a guess.
Go mad. Use whatever you see. See if you get it wrong. See if you get it fucking wrong. Anything. Just you go mad. And I was all cocky. And I ate the whole bread thing. And then they came down with the butter, which was supposed to be the fancy... they go, "This is butter." And then they realised I'd already eaten all the bread. And they were like, "I'll just get you another one." Yeah, I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Oh god!" Like, obviously the bread wasn't the best bit. It was just some sort of fancy butter that.
And you do find yourself getting so self-conscious, like,
big time.
Because even when you do those tasting things or whatever, like we were doing a similar thing, as I say, on the Friday, right? And I missed it, Warren.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed it. I was paying attention and I was keeping up and whatever, but I ended up with the wrong fucking whiskey for the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And I had a whiskey left over.
That's
and
brilliant.
stuff. And I had to go back on it. I had to go back.
You had to go back?
Yeah, so you were having the chocolate snipes. I had to go back.
Jim was still there with the pepperonis or cheese or something.
And you get all self-conscious. You think this is a wonderful experience, and suddenly you're like, "Oh, jeez, I'm about to embarrass myself now.
Yeah.
Look at me with the wrong whiskey, with the wrong cheese."
This is it. And when we did the thing with the bread, she left a little bit of bread over, and then the very next course was this sort of avocado-y, spready thing. It was like a tempura thing, whatever. And there was a bit left, and I was there going, "Do you think I could use the bread to rub it around?" And she was there. "Yeah, I'll keep sketch." As if we were going to be like getting struck,
But you do have to question whether you're in the right environment when somebody's keeping sketch.
Yeah, because
you're eating your dinner.
You're dipping your bread. It's like you're paying hundreds of quid for the pleasure of being in the kip, and then you're too afraid to eat a bit of bread off the table.
Keep sketch.
I'm going to pretend I'm tying me lace.
Actually, Joe, speaking of fancy food, right? We were talking on the show during the week. Actually, one of the best bits that we have for you is the amount of times that happens that you eat something and you've no idea what it's called or what it is, or anything like that. The amount of stuff that we kind of hear about or is on menus or whatever, and none of us know.
Haven't a clue
what it actually is.
Sure, we were eating horse burgers for 20 years and didn't even know it.
So you'll get to hear that again. Also, speaking of horse, we ended up having a chat about those times when, I suppose, when you're genuinely telling the truth, you are telling the truth,
but it's too unbelievable.
Nobody believes you.
No one takes it for you.
Nobody believes you. And one of my favourite people, despite the fact that I've never met the man, one of PJ's good mates, came into the conversation as well, so you'll get to hear that as well. Also, on the subject of names and stuff, there was a situation where somebody ended up unfortunately naming a stand. The football club unfortunately named a stand after a mass murderer.
Yeah.
Which was just, as I say, unfortunate. But it did lead us down an unusual path.
Yeah, it did, yeah. There were great names, like, be careful who you fall in love with.
That's the motto.
Make sure it's a choice.
Yes, exactly. Make sure. And also, Rod Stewart featured on the show during the week. Well, not really featured, I suppose. He was on holiday, and he made it a family holiday.
He took away the kids.
Yeah. It's just
his kids are like pretty much knocking on the door, getting a bus pass.
They're older than us. Yeah. Some of them. Anyway, so have a listen to some of the best bits from during the week. We'll talk to you very shortly.
GloryDaze, the best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim
on Radio Nova.
This woman, she's a journalist from Brazil, and she uses her Kindle, to relax and after a day's work and writing scandal or whatever she does. She sits down and she likes to read on her Kindle. And she posted up a video online, actually, of these. She went to her Kindle and there was ants managed to get inside it.
Ants.
Yeah, they got inside the Kindle. So she has this like video of the ants sort of running in and out of the charging port, and them all covered the screen and the whole lot. And she thought, whatever, like, you know, you bat them off or hopefully they crawl out or something. But then she realised that the ants had bought books on her Amazon account. And she didn't want the books.
Any particular, were they ant-related titles?
Wouldn't you love to know?
Was it a biography of Adam?
Ant Sylvania. Yeah, I know, yeah. So they don't tell us what books they bought, but they bought books on her Amazon account. And she, of course, tried to contact Amazon and says, I didn't buy those books, Amazon, or ants did. And they don't believe a word of it. Like, it's the most ludicrous story
if somebody said to you, no, it wasn't me, it was the ants. What?
I know,
ants
yeah.
Did it. They ants operated your Amazon account to buy a couple of books. Ants are interested in that, are they?
I know, you'd be like, I suppose the dog ate your homework as well. It's up there with the bus broke down. Like, you'd never.
Yeah. It's the ultimate in a big boy did it and ran away.
It really is, yeah.
It wasn't me.
But she swears it is, and she can't win it because nobody believes her story, and that's what you're saying. Truth is stranger than fiction. I think, actually, we all have some story like that.
Because to be fair, that is, like, there's no way that... I mean, there's just no way you'd believe it. I mean, it's to be fair, you'd say, okay, bit of creativity.
Yeah.
You know, wasn't trying to claim, somebody did it by accident, or, you know, somebody stole it or whatever. Ants did it, but like, you'd go, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Get
I know.
off the stage, just pay for the blooming things.
And everybody has these stories. I know someone that says she was sitting in a pub and a fella walked into the pub, right?
Yeah.
Went straight into the toilet and never came out. That's what she said. And there's only a tiny window that a person could fit through. You know, you hear all these supernatural things.
So,
you know.
So see, she's claiming that this, and nobody believes that this happened.
Nobody believes that it happened. She swears it happened.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, actually. How frustrating is it? Like, say that woman, right? It genuinely happened with the ants. How frustrating is it when you're actually telling the truth?
Yeah.
And nobody believes you.
And nobody believes you. People think you're just making up something stupid.
It's like the way I still don't believe you about your mate with the weird ball in his head.
That's happened. Jim McCabe, I swear to God, that happened on my fella's life. We were walking down the road. It was Christmas Eve.
Yeah, babe. And you just wandered out of the drunk tank.
No, we didn't. This is why you won't believe me. This is why you won't. I swear to God, we were walking down the road, Belgrove Road in Clontarf, right?
Yeah.
And a ball, like a football of light, came around the corner, no beam now, just an isolated ball of light, came out of a lane, went round the corner, and went into me mate's head and never came out.
Wow.
You see, you still don't believe me. I swear it happened.
Yeah.
It did.
You're sounding a bit like, you know, that other mate of yours that I love, John.
Yeah.
You're sounding like, you're not going to believe it, Head.
He's like John, poor old John. Everything goes wrong for him. He's the most unlucky person in the world, and that's why every time you meet him, he starts his conversations with, "You're not going to believe what's after happening." Like, we were doing a gig in Vicar Street, and a horse robbed his notes on Thomas Street.
Like that's,
yeah, a
horse.
horse.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's very hard to, but like, you'd say, okay, creative in fairness, rather than saying I lost them or, you know, whatever, they fell down a shore. But a horse.
But he came in, he goes,
horses, and they're taking me notes.
Yeah, he was, my notes blew out of my hand, and a horse stood on them and wouldn't give them back. Yeah, he had to come in without his notes. So I don't know what I'm going to do. And the unfortunate thing is he calls everyone horse. So he's like, the horse took my notes, horse. What am I going to do, horse?
And the best line was when he was explaining that he was actually talking to the horse going, please, horse.
Please, horse. I have to do a show.
It's the very best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim.
On Radio Nova.
As I say, he is now our official bon vivant. Because he only appreciates the good life now, PJ. Basically, if he's not being served the finest of foods and beverages, he's just not happy. And we had a glorious start to the weekend, to be fair. Clint and PJ and myself, we had a fabulous tour and a fabulous time we were dined and we were looked after beyond belief by the fabulous people in the Powers Court Distillery. A great way to start a bank holiday weekend.
I swear to God,
it was just amazing.
Looked after us so well. Like we had walking around smiling like Russian billionaires. We were. You want to see it? Oh.
And I can't recommend it enough. The tour, and then if you're doing the sort of lunch tasting thing, just fantastic.
Absolutely.
Just out of this world. And then, of course, that wasn't enough for PJ. No, because then he had to go the next day. He had to go to a double Michelin-star restaurant.
Oh, it was brilliant. I lost my peasant friend, Jim McCabe, and headed off to the high life. I was in Leah, I think it's called 2-star Michelin restaurant. Unbelievable.
Yeah, another fantastic lunch thing of tasting and wine and everything. Always drink responsibly.
Always drink responsibly. I was
and
there.
all of that sort of stuff. So, but the interesting thing about it is, did he know anything he was eating?
Did I know? No is the answer. But it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But I will say, looking at this story this morning, I understand completely where they come from, right?
Right.
Because you hear a lot of words about food and you don't know what they are. And especially where I was, I'm not sure if they'd let you in, but where I was, they do this thing where they explain to you every dish.
Yeah.
So for instance, a pigeon came out, or his legs anyway. There's like 2 pigeon legs and all. And the claw and the whole lot was on them, and everything.
Yeah.
And they were doing the whole, this pigeon is from France. I was like, thank God he's not from O'Connell Street. His cigarette butts coming out of him and everything. I was like, this pigeon is from France, and he was fed on only the best oats and whatever barley. And of course, he was fed vigevant, which is the side of chicon de pepper. I'm like, I haven't, and I'm nodding along like I know what they're talking about.
Absolutely. Well, you don't want to let the side down.
Yeah.
You always have to chime in with a sort of, oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then you get the whole, and I'm sure you've noticed as you put the pigeon into your mouth that the ambiance du show in the wine. It complements it perfectly to a state of, I would say, and you're like, I haven't a clue.
Just in case anybody thinks that the radio's gone funny, none of these words are real, are they? That's just PJ's impersonation of words.
Jim, excuse me, that's exactly what you said.
Well, it turns out you're not alone.
I'm not
it turns out
alone.
we're all in the same boat here.
And
particularly with one food in specifically, is
with
it?
seafood, apparently when it comes to seafood, less than half of the people in the world know what they're talking about. Like, only 40% of people know what gravidax is, which I didn't until I read it, I'll be honest with you.
And just actually, that's a fish of some sort, is it? Or seafood of some sort?
Philistine, Jim.
What is it?
It's cured salmon with dill white. Oh, it's gravalax, is it?
I don't know.
I said gravidax, did I? Oh, sorry,
Why, is there a D in it anyway? Is it a silent D?
That's beside the point.
Right. Because that's been on that's on the menu up in the Roundwood Inn for years, and I've never known what it was.
You see, this is what it is. Yeah. So here now you know it's cured salmon with dill white. Dill. Well, I thought he said gambas was in it. No, that's a different one. Gambas is prawns cooked in garlic. I knew that.
Did you?
I did know that. Gambas.
Okay.
Yeah, They all,
I wouldn't have known
You never
that.
get enough of them. Don't order it. They give you about 5 prawns full of oil. You never get enough of them. What else is there? Craic or ceviche. That's raw fish of some...
Clint's having a small breakdown out there. I don't know. You know the way he's a globetrotter.
I know, he's a real foodie. Oh, ceviche.
Of course it is. Make an effort, will you? No wonder you don't know what it is. You're not even saying it right.
I'm so sorry I started the story. Now Clint's looking at me like, oh my God. Yeah. What did you eat for dinner yesterday, pedigree chum?
Yeah. He's like, call yourself a bon vivant. You don't know what. Oh.
Yeah.
God, I think you just got thrown out of the 2-Michelin-star club.
I definitely did.
Clint's just literally ejected you there.
I'd say the door closed.
He was an absolute charlatan.
I'd say with the door closed.
He didn't know his ceviche.
He didn't know his ceviche from his gambas. Yes, but there's a lot of them, like fritto misto. Apparently
I've heard of that now.
An Italian dish, mussels.
Is that a soup, is it?
No, a deep fried fish.
Ah, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Is that a soup? I've heard of that. The soup. No. Deep fried fish. Oh, yeah, that's brilliant. All the laughing you did at me. Oh, yeah, deep fried soup. I know.
Have we tried that?
No, we haven't actually
We
tried
should give
deep
that a
fried
go,
soup.
deep fried soup. And now we know the name of it.
Yeah, we do.
But it's not the one you just gave.
Frito misto. Oh, no, it's not. That's the actual... Oh, for God's sake, this is very hard.
Right.
Yeah, so we don't know. Like, it's just, we haven't got a clue. People don't know that sashimi is just raw fish on its own. They don't know all these things. So seafood menus, I suppose in Ireland, like, we live on an island nation. You'd think we'd be really good
We're
with fish.
surrounded by...
Yeah, and all we know is Captain Birdseye and Donegal Catch. Like, it's a kind of a disgrace, really, you know.
Yeah, and smoked cod.
Smoked cod,
Yeah, smoked cod, fresh cod.
A smoked cod, fresh cod. And if you're over 70...
And some goujons, maybe.
Goujons, or if you're over 77, you still ask for a bit of Ray.
GloryDaze, the best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim.
On Radio Nova.
Southend United, the football club, they got new sponsors, right?
Good
Gilbert,
luck, you'd say. Good luck, you'd say.
You'd say very good luck. Yeah, well done. Getting behind the team. They were relegated not so long ago, and they're hoping to get promoted again. And then local estate agents Gilbert and Rose gave them enough money that they could print off season tickets and cards and everything with the full names of the sponsors on it.
Gilbert and Rose, they were the owners, were they? Or they're the new owners?
They're the new sponsors.
Or the new sponsors.
The new big-time sponsors.
Right,
and they've
okay.
named the stand after the sponsors, you know.
Fair play.
The only problem is that their second name is West. So Rose West is now the name of the sponsors, who just happens to be the exact same name of one of the most famous murderers in British history.
Right.
And,
so you're saying they now have a stand called the Rose West stand?
Pretty much, yeah. And now they don't.
Oh my
and now
God.
they're panicking and they have to get rid of it. They have to get it taken back. They have to try and reissue season tickets, and it's a disaster for
I mean,
them.
you'd imagine your woman herself would have said, look, it mightn't have been the great idea. My name is Rose West. It's probably not the best thing to be sticking on your stand.
You just leave it at Gilbert and Rose. Nobody has to have the Gilbert and Rose West stand.
The Gilbert and Rose stand would have been grand, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but there you go, Gilbert and Rose West. Obviously,
unfortunate.
Oh, very unfortunate,
to say the least.
And like, be careful who you fall in love with too, because you know the way they used to put it in the papers, and you still see it online. People like
wedding announcements?
Yeah, and they give you the double barrel thing. So like,
Tends
maybe
to be high society, doesn't it?
Yeah. So if we got married, it'd be like PJ Gallagher McCabe or whatever. You know, they do that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, when they do the Gallagher and McCabe wedding, will be taken. Yeah, I know
all
what you're
that
talking
sort of
about.
stuff. Yeah. Well, because some couples have got it so wrong. Like one wedding, the names were Poor and Sap, so it ended up being the.
The Poor Sap wedding.
Yeah, the Poor Sap wedding. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then there was another one called The Stokers Married the Dailies. So it was like Amanda Stoker Daly became one of the names. It just, you see, you just...
Stoker.
You kind of have to...
Stoker Daly.
Yeah, you have to... And there was a Speedy and a Zipper that got married, which is kind of two unusual names anyway. But being married to a guy called Speedy Zipper, it doesn't... You know,
yeah, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, and the Moores married the Bacon, married into the Bacon family, so Moore Bacon became the name.
That sounds like a fantastic.
That's actually a good one, isn't it?
More bacon.
Yeah. That's a good one.
All the time.
But then there's like the Loonies. And this is true now. I'm not making this up. This isn't me like having... The Loonies married a family called the Wards. And it's... Mr. and Mrs. Looney Ward.
The Looney Ward wedding.
The Looney Ward.
That sounds like one of the only ones I've ever wanted to go to.
Yeah.
You want to go to the Looney Ward wedding?
Oh yeah, and the long wee is the other. A long wee. Look,
the long wee engagement.
Yeah, long wee. Some of them are brilliant, you know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant. Look at that one there. The Hardy family married into the Har family.
Yeah,
so it was the Hardy Har wedding.
Rachel. Hardy Har. Rachel and Dan Hardy Har wedding.
Oh my God.
And then the Gorys married into the Butcher family, so Gory Butcher. Like, they go on brilliant.
Gory Butcher.
Yeah, one
wedding.
of my favourite ones is the Cockman marrying the Dickman. It's like, you know, that's brilliant.
I think we know where you're going with that one.
Gary Cockman Dickman. What a name. What an amazing name. And look at Bush and Hacker. Bush Hacker. Like, some of these are just... They're like... I can't even say some of them. I'm actually afraid to say some of them on the radio. You know?
I know, yeah. I mean, but I'm sure there's been situations like that in companies or, in any sort of situation. Maybe there's actual wedding situations out there. Maybe there are couples out there who literally had to. It's not so much of an Irish tradition, is it, to announce it in the papers in
not
advance?
anymore. We used to do it years ago. I remember.
If anybody, if two kind of surnames came together to
collided.
form one piece of hilarity, do let us know. Or if there is a company out there who got it so wrong and ended up naming their, something after a mass murderer.
And we all grew up with lads who had mad names. I knew the people who had. I had a music teacher called Miss Melody. Like, how perfect was that?
How did that happen?
How did it happen? You choose your way or something. Anyway, look at that for a wedding. Coming up soon, Jim, if you want to go. The Gross Panty Wedding. I think we'd fit right in.
It's the very best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim.
On Radio Nova.
We were talking about holidays and just saying that if you're, obviously parents will know all too well that, there's a certain time, when you're a parent, obviously, that when it comes to holidays, you have to plan the holiday based on the kind of kids' requirements, right?
Oh, of course you do, yeah.
So it's kind of like, if you're only getting, most people, to be fair, only get the chance at one holiday a year if they're lucky. And so if you're doing the family holiday, you have to plan it around, is there stuff for the kids to do and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
And then it gets to the stage, really, where, maybe the kids get to an age where they don't want to be with you on holiday. They want to be doing their own
They want to go with their own friends and start branching out, yeah.
So that sort of, there's that, tipping point where they sort of might come with you, they might not be into going with you on holiday or whatever. Unless you're Rod Stewart.
Unless you're Rod Stewart. He's away with his family now. He's away with Penny Lancaster. She's 51. He's 77. And they've taken the kids away on a trip. They have. They're away now in Italy at the moment, actually. They posted a lovely family photograph yesterday. And he's there with his children, Kimberly, who's 42. Sean, who's 41, Alistair, who's 16. There's a bit of a gap there. But his daughter, his eldest daughter, who is 58, couldn't make it, unfortunately. I know, I guess, okay, they're happy to travel together or whatnot. Yeah. But like you said...
It's just the idea of they've presented it as very much he's brought the kids away for a holiday.
Yeah, they have.
Just what I mean, and making it sound like, like your typical family holiday where you'd have to say to the kids, look, I'm going to drop you off to the Crocodile Club. Yeah. And then I'll come back and collect you when I'm finished, right?
Exactly. So Kimberly and Sean, who are 46 and 42, you can imagine, go in there. I don't want to go in there. I want to drink fizzy drinks and have fun, Dad.
Yeah, we're going down for dinner at 7:30, right? Okay. Can I stay here? No.
Yeah. No, you cannot now. And you're like, please. And then you can eating all the strange foods. That's always a problem for parents, isn't it? The sauce is touching my eggs. My fish fingers taste funny, man.
Look, I suppose when your dad's a multi-millionaire, I suppose the idea of going on holiday with him probably has a different sort of feel to it.
Yeah, I guess it does.
Than for the rest of us.
I suppose so. And he's going to have sweets and he's going to have all of that and he's going to set everyone up. It won't be like, when you went to Spiddle and it lashed rain and this was like the big family holiday. You remember that back in the day and you'd rent a cottage or you'd get one of those hotel rooms where your man and dad sleep in one and there's the door in between. Remember that? Yeah. Into where the kids were.
That's if you were lucky. You might have ended up in where there was they'd shoehorned in another bed.
Oh, that's right, the rack
that was
bed.
Only designed for two.
Your parents lying on the thing and you're just there in this little rack. Like you're an 8-year-old who's just been sent to prison in Galway. That's right, yeah. And sleeping in that on your own and all. And then your parents coming in later.
Stepping over you and all. Your elf fella still got the fresh tunes of Perry Como and the fresh breath of Benson and Hedges. You're there going, this is... So it's probably not, like I say, when you're, Rod Stewart's kids... Even if you are 58,
it's probably
going on holiday with your dad, doesn't really, doesn't have quite the same uncoolness.
Yeah, I
that
guess
it might
so.
for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Fair.
I imagine.
What is the cut-off point?
That's a good question. I don't really know. I know that my friend, I won't say his name, but his daughters, they started going on their own holidays, and he lost his mind. Now, I can only say. He lost his mind.
Really?
Yeah, because she was going away for her first holiday. I think she was just gone. She was 17 when she booked it. She'd be 18 when she was going. Do you know that way?
Right, so...
And he was out, no, I can't deal with it, Peter, I can't deal with it. I'm having a heart attack. I'm having palpitations. He goes, what? Do you know what? Do you know what I'll do? I know what I'll do. This is what you go. I'll follow her over and I'll say nothing. I would say you can't do that. He goes, I'll follow her over. I'll stay at the distance and I won't get involved. I said, you were not going to get in anywhere. You're an elf fella. You're an elf.
You're going to stand...
You're going bald.
Because somebody's going to turn around and point out to her, do you know there's a weird elf over there wearing like two shorts that are too short?
Yeah.
And
he's got a pair of
pair of Doc Martens, and he's looking at you all the time.
He's never won't take his eyes off you. You're going to get arrested. Walking around sweaty in the sun, keeping tabs on your daughter, wondering why you can't get into nightclubs called Ecstasy Palace or something like that. Stay at home. She'll be fine. You have to let her grow up one way or the other, you know.
That's the weirdest reaction I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah, he was
actually
freaking out.
to go over there incognito.
Incognito, as if you could. Sit at the back of the plane wearing a pair of shades. You know what I mean? Hello, Sean?
Da, is that you?
No. The old standing there with the newspaper and the two holes cut through it. Like a spy from a 1970s detective movie.
GloryDaze, the best of Morning Glory with PJ and Jim.
On Radio Nova.
What am I going to come back with?
That's it there. You should take me on holidays now. Like that. Like Rod Stewart's kid. You should bring me away. Get me some armbands, put us in the pool of a local resort.
That's it, yeah.
Like we were
Do you
saying,
reckon I could pass you off as... maybe I could pass you off as my eldest son?
Yeah, exactly. That's what we were saying in the podcast last week. I'd be saying your other half would love it if he says, listen, we have to take PJ. He does it.
Yeah.
Just we can't leave him at home on his own.
Yeah, but actually that'd be good if I convinced her that look, I tell you what, right? It won't be that bad. I'll drop him off to the pool every morning. I'll drop him off to the kids club, right?
Yeah, he'd be grand there.
Yeah, and he can stay, he can do his colouring in, and he can build his blocks and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we'll pick him up in the evening. We'll pick him up, we'll give him his dinner, and then we'll have him in bed by 8 o'clock.
It's grand. We'll have
actually, to be honest with you, that's the one part that'd be true.
True. Yeah. You'd have me out. I'd be out walking around selling watches for the day while you're lying around the pool. I'd be walking around selling me Rolex watches.
Yeah, going around telling people the error of their ways.
Yeah.
You don't want to be cooking it like that.
Oh yeah, sort that out. Yeah, it's called paella.
Yeah. Tell you, you know me. I ate in a 2-Michelin-starred restaurant once. You don't want to be doing that with it.
Yeah, look, I can still taste the pigeon leg.
Of all of the things for you, of all people to go to a Michelin-star restaurant and end up being given pigeon.
Yeah.
Literally, the Gigna is one of the most...
I know.
One of the most synonymous things with you.
I know, the poor little fucker probably died sitting on an electric wire with a cigarette in his mouth. And next thing he ends up on my plate.
The best part, probably it was only the two legs that were left. The electrical current blew the rest off. And somebody came along, I'd be ashamed to waste those legs.
Yeah, I know a fella who'd have them. Doesn't know the difference. Tell him it was a baby turkey.
Right, shall we leave?
Let's leave, so get out of here.
You've been listening to GloryDaze, the best of Radio Nova's Morning Glory with PJ and Jim. Catch the show live weekdays 6 to 10 on FM, online at nova.ie, or on the Nova app.